So, for anybody who's newer to the whole concept and idea of attachment theory, I just want to start this video by explaining a few really crucial things. And the first one is that your attachment style is not a disorder. It's not an official diagnosis where you now have been diagnosed with some sort of disorder. It's actually basically a series of patterns that you've adapted from childhood in terms of what you think love should look like. And in certain cases, we have really secure patterns that we adapt, AKA the securely attached style. And in other cases, we have some different patterns of dysfunction that are never a person's fault and not necessarily a part of who they are, but behaviors they partake in. Okay. So there's a difference between who you are at your core versus what you do. And in this case, the way I like to think of our different attachment patterns is literally like sitting down to play a board game. And in this board game, maybe you have the rules for Monopoly and I have the rules for Scrabble, but we're going to sit down and play on the same board of the game with a different rule book. I mean, you can only imagine that there's going to be confusion and unnecessary friction and arguments for what's supposed to be going on because we literally have a rule book that are exemplifying different ideas and for the way that the game should go, what it should look like, what we should expect, what we should feel about the game, the behaviors that are okay and not okay for the game. And that's the analogy I would give for our attachment style. Now, our attachment style can dramatically affect our relationship. It's not like, okay, just because it's this series of patterns, you're fine. In fact, our attachment style is probably the number one cause of relationship dysfunction. If we have an insecurely attached style and then we pair that with somebody with a different insecurely attached style, we're going to have a lot of problems. And our attachment style doesn't just show up in our romantic relationships, it shows up in what we believe about ourselves and can impact our self confidence and self esteem. It can impact us in the workplace. It can impact us because if we don't know our needs in regards to our attachment style and we don't feel safe to communicate them or share them, we're going to be left feeling unseen and unheard and abandoned and misunderstood and small because we're not giving people in our lives the relevant information that they need in order to be there for us and show up for us. And our attachment style will absolutely affect our emotional well-being, how we feel emotionally on a daily basis, the scale and intensity of emotions that we'll feel based on our triggers. And our attachment style will also affect the way we communicate or the absence of communication. Sometimes people communicate through stonewalling, which is sort of like the inaction in regards to communication. So I just wanted to say quickly, your attachment style is not a disorder. It's not something that is, this big, terrible, scary thing. It's just that we can learn dysfunctional patterns that get passed down from generation to generation, and are really going to continue to show up and sort of sabotage our lives in different ways until we really recondition them. Now, with all of that being said, I want to share a really exciting announcement, which is that I've put together a book that really streamlines this process. It's actually all about integrated attachment theory, which takes some of the traditional ideas from traditional attachment theory with John Bowlby and actually really digs into creating all of these reprogramming techniques because traditional attachment theory didn't talk about how to recondition your attachment style. So we engage the subconscious mind, we engage core wound reprogramming, how to meet your needs, how to emotionally regulate, and regulate your nervous system. And we also talk about how to recondition your behaviors, your unhealthy boundary patterns, and to communicate more effectively in different areas of your life. So we cover those 6 major features in a really streamlined way so that you can become securely attached very fast, in a really, really systemized manner that involves the subconscious mind in the process, which is what we need for real change to happen. So if you are interested and want to learn more, we have a pre-sale going on right now, and it's 20% off just for our audience. And if there's lots of pre-sale books sold, we get to hopefully be on a bestseller list. And so if it's something you're interested in, would be really, really grateful for you to be a part of this whole pre-sale process. And that's it for today. If you have more questions or even just want me to cover like another video on this process in more detail, I'm happy to do that, of course, and to share it. And that's it. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.